Hey friends, I have a book for you today. This book actually will be coming to your classroom very shortly. The book is called Who Ever Heard of a Flying Bird by David Cunliffe and illustrated by Ivan Barrera. Living on an island in the middle of the sea, Pip and all the other birds relax beneath their tree. Her flock stayed on the ground. They never thought to fly. It sounded so ridiculous, they didn't even try. They lived there in the dirt, eating seeds from off the ground, or fruit that fell from off the tree, all squishy, old and browned. Island life was simple, and she lived a life of ease. Yet Pip still yearned for something more than life beneath the trees. Pip became determined to find a way up high. She had no clue what to do, but knew she had to try. Pip started with the basics, something never tried before, and aiming for a piece of fruit, she jumped up off the floor. Sadly, this was not enough. She missed it by a mile. The others chirped and laughed at her and taunted with a smile. Whoever heard of jumping birds that leap and bound around? There's no such thing as jumping birds who won't stay on the ground. Pip was not a quitter. She had another plan. She took off running in a dash, and up that tree she ran. Although she sprinted quickly, her tactic did not work. The flock all seemed amused by this and looked on with a smirk. Whoever heard of running birds running up a tree? There's no such thing as running birds, the others squawked with glee. Pip was not quite finished. There were still more things to try. Next, she tried to flap her wings to reach the branch up high. She flapped and shook her wings and spun and danced around. But nothing changed, and there she stood, feet firmly on the ground. Whoever heard of flapping birds flapping up and down? There's no such thing as flapping birds, you're silly like a clown. Pip had even more ideas. She tried to do them all, but every single thing she tried just ended in a fall. That night she took a walk and found a place to sit. She thought, this feels quite impossible. Maybe I should quit. While sitting there alone, a firefly flew by. Pip was just amazed to see a bug could fly so high. A feeling then came over her, and she had to try once more. She knew it did not matter that no bird had flown before. She barely slept a wink that night. She rose before the dawn, then waddled slowly to the tree as all the birds looked on. Pip began to flap her wings, then took off with a dash. She made it pretty far this time. But landed with a crash. Whoever heard of flying birds like clouds up in the sky? Don't you know there's no such thing? We just aren't meant to fly. She thought of all her failures, and she thought of all she'd learned. She looked at all the lumps and bumps and bruises that she'd earned. She stood back up and dusted off. A tear was in her eye. She clenched her beak, and Pip resolved to give it one more try. She focused on the fruit above. She breathed in long and deep. She spread her feathered wings and ran, then took a giant leap. One said, "That's impossible. We aren't meant for flight." But Pip did fly. She reached the fruit and took a juicy bite. One by one, Pip took each bird and showed them how to fly. No longer stuck down on the ground, their home was now the sky. The end.